All right, so guys, welcome back to the MIT App Inventor. So this will be our second ongoing class. So what I need you to do is, once you're at the website, I need you guys to go to Create App. So last time we had an overview. It was more of an introduction to the MIT App Inventor, as in the workflow, the environment, also called IDE, and so on. I'm gonna go to project. I'm gonna go to new project, and let's give it a name. Okay. So for today, we're gonna try to work a little bit on let's build. I actually didn't think about it though before coming to the class about what to build. What should be something interesting and challenging at the same time? How about we work
Could we build
on?
a two-way chat room?
That's kind of interesting. I didn't think about that. Okay, so let's go for that. So let's start building a two-way chat room. And although it's kind of too early for that, but we can at least make some few basics. And as we go on throughout the week, we can work on that. So for the project name, let's make it so two-way chat, right? So feel free to name your project whatever you want. I think I'll just name it chat room. That's fine. Right, so chat room, I'm gonna click OK. So once you do, it's gonna reload and give you a blank screen. You always have this component here of the screen, which is always called screen one, by the way. I don't think you can rename it. I've tried many ways, but the screen one would always be there by default. All right. So let's start on one of the most important tools of the MIT Inventor, which is the palette. Okay, so the palette gives you access to this GUI interface. It gives you access to layouts, medias, etc. You know, media, social, storage. I like that. I make use of this database here, especially the TinyDB, to store things on my phone, you know, within the app. And one thing I started using is Firebase. So Firebase is a database, it's a light NoSQL database built by Google. Now, let's start with the interface. Okay, so are you all there?
Yep.
Now, building an interface, who can tell me what's the most important thing we need to do?
First, you need the functionality, and then you can make it decorative.
It's too early for functionality. We need to lay down the basics. What are the basics when building a user interface? Come on, guys.
Make it easy to use?
No. Okay, so I do teach a design class in few schools. So if you were there, if I did ask them the same question, they would have told me layout. Okay, so this is the basic for any user interface design. We need the layout. What is your layout going to look like? It's very important. So I'm going to actually click layout instead of user interface. Okay, so the layout gives you actually 5 different layouts. You have the horizontal arrangement, which basically puts stuff like a horizontal bar. You have the horizontal scroll arrangement, which gives you like a scroll within that layout. You have the table arrangement, which basically like an HTML table. And you have the vertical arrangement, like the horizontal but vertical this time, and you have the vertical scroll arrangement. So you can basically,
If you were to be making a two-way chat room, then the vertical scroll arrangement would be the best.
yeah. So it really depends. So it depends on your design, if you kind of see what I mean. So each designer might have a different point of view or different way to design it. Okay, so you can design it like WhatsApp, or you can have it like WhatsApp, or I don't know, any text messaging out there, or you can just decide to have another whole different design. So let's go with the simplest, okay? Which is the one we are all used to. So something like WhatsApp. Is that okay? So the first thing I want to do is lay down the layout. So for the layout, good. I will go with starting with horizontal arrangement. I'm going to pull this on my screen and leave that on my screen. And you can see it forms like a small square on my screen. You know, it looks like a square here on the component screen 1. I always want you to focus here. Whenever you put something, you push something on the screen, I want you to realize that it always comes under this component here, and it comes directly under screen 1. In other means, whatever you put is a child of screen 1, okay? So belongs to screen 1, okay? So that's like inheritance in programming. Is that okay? Good. So once you do that, I want you to click screen 1 here. When you click screen 1, I want you to look at the properties of screen 1, okay? So we can play a little bit with these properties here. So for a beginning, we can decide to put the align horizontal property to center. Once we do that, you realize that the box moves from the left side, it goes to center, and we can actually put it on the right if we wanted to. Is that okay? Good. Now, once you do that, it's kind of okay. It's kind of cool. Okay, so let's leave that there. So one thing I will do is I will click back on the horizontal arrangement. Once you do, you will realize that its properties changes. Okay, so the properties of the father and the, or should I say the parent and the child is kind of different. Okay, you can see that the parent has more properties than its child has. Okay, so it's basically there's a slight difference there. So with the horizontal arrangement, we get few properties. It basically also allows us to align. It also allows us to set a background color. We can make it visible if we wanted to. Okay.
Wait, how did you get it over the other screen? The other side of the screen?
So you want to click screen. When you're on the screen here, I selected align horizontal and put it on the right side. Is that okay? Daniel, are you okay?
Yep.
Good.
Follow along.
Good. So once you do that, you want to click the horizontal arrangement and you want to click the width. Okay. Once you have the width selected, I'm going to click fill parent. Daniel, do you remember what fill parent does?
It takes up as much space as possible inside the allotted area, inside
Okay.
its parent.
Excellent. So in this case, which space is it going to take? Is it taking just the width or is it taking both the width and the height?
Just the width.
Just the width. So when I click fill parent, you realize that it's going to stretch towards the left. Is that okay? Does that make sense? So if we wanted to build something like a chat room, what we will need to do is instead of filling the width, you might want to fill it at maybe 80%. Is that okay? Does that make sense? Is that okay, guys? Okay, so once you fill in the width at 80%, I'm going to go to the height. If you think the height might be too much, so you might want to make it maybe 10% here or 20%. Let's make it just 20%. Half of that. No, actually, it's still too much. So I'm going to change and make it just 10%. It should be okay now. Good. So you will realize that there are 4 options here. So basically, the automatic here tells it tells that object to basically fit whatever it is in there. So if I choose automatic, this is what happens basically. You kind of see what I mean. So it automatically readjusts to fit whatever its parents is in. So when you click fit here, when you click fill parent, it fills in the parent. That's it here. Oh, sorry, I'm choosing the height here. So automatically it comes down. Now, if you want further precision, Okay, there are times whereby you don't want it to automatic adjust, or you don't want it to fill in the parent, but you want more of a precision. So you would go for either pixels or percentage. Okay, who can tell me what the difference between pixel here and the percent here?
The percent is how much of the parent that it fills, and the pixels is how many pixels on the screen it would take up.
Excellent. I love that answer. But to be more clear, so we can remove any ambiguity, if you take the percent here, it's like you are considering that all this screen here, okay? So each part of the screen here, you consider it like as 100%. Are we okay? So if the screen is 100% and I put 80% here, does that make sense? So from the height side, I've only taken 80% of the screen. Does that make sense? And I have left 20%. Is that okay?
I think it might be like if you're doing like a chat room, I think it might be better to do a vertical scroll arrangement with a little space on the bottom for your where you type.
Could you say that again?
I feel like if we're making a chat room, then it would be better to have a vertical scroll arrangement because it scrolls up and down so you can see what you last typed.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, so we will work on that as we go in the next class. So I think for this class, I'm more interested in you getting familiar with the layout. Is that okay, Will?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So as I said, I'm still on the horizontal arrangement here. So the width at 80% I think should be fine, and the height we can make it actually I'll make it just 10% for me. Okay, good. Now what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna drag another horizontal arrangement, and look out, it's gonna come automatically on the right. Who can tell me why do you think it came on the right this time instead of the left?
The parent settings make it go to the right.
Excellent. So if I wanted it to come on the left, how do I do that now? Any ideas, guys? Will, Daniel?
Well, if you try to change the parent settings, then the other one would change its settings as well.
So what do I do? Daniel, Will, what do I do next? So what do I do? What's your advice? Okay, so one thing we could have done basically to record, that's why it's very important from the beginning to have a concrete layout. Okay, if your app layout is not has not well been defined from the start of the project, you will find that throughout the project, when you have changes or updates you would like to make to the layout, those subsequent updates will be very, very hard, because it would mean you would have to distort the whole layout again once more. So if I wanted it to fill in, so let's say I put the fill in to fill parent, and I wanted it here from this side to be from the left going instead of to fill in up to the right, it would be kind of difficult. Just as Will said, the parent has already been defined. Is that okay? So one thing I would do is I would click here, the component. When you click the component, you will realize that you can delete it. It's fine, guys. Let's just play for today. I just want you to be comfortable with the layout that we have today. So, we are just playing, removing. So don't take this project too serious, okay? Just play along. So one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click this component here. You realize that when I click screen one, you can't it is unable. You can't rename, you can't delete. But when I click this component here, it actually allows me to even rename it if I wanted. So I can name it HR, for example, and click OK, it will get renamed. I can also delete the component if I wanted to. Okay, so I will just re-delete them. And once I do that, so what I will do is I will select a vertical scroll arrangement instead of vertical arrangement. This time, we're gonna go with the vertical scroll arrangement. Okay, so I'm gonna put that here. And this time, I'm not gonna bother. I'm gonna put everything here at the center. Instead of the right, I'm gonna leave it here. Actually, I'm gonna leave it at the left, which is fine for me. It's at the top, it's fine. And I'm gonna leave, so this was the default behavior at first. I'm gonna leave it that way. I'm gonna click the vertical scroll arrangement now, and I'm gonna make it fill the parent all the way down. Is that okay? So I want it to fill the parent both up, down, left, and right. So good. So now we have the first layout here. Okay, so this is like the first container we have. Is that okay? Now, next, what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna pull up the scroll arrangement back here. Is that okay? And I'm gonna leave it here. Now, when I leave it here, you realize that it becomes once more again a child of the vertical scroll arrangement. Okay, so this time, previously it was a child of the screen. Okay, now it becomes within the vertical scroll arrangement. Is that okay? So when I click the vertical scroll arrangement, you do realize that we still have the same properties as the horizontal arrangement as we had before. Is that okay? Good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that here, and I'm gonna increase its width here. Good. And the height, I'm gonna give the height actually a 10%. Is that okay? And the width, I might want to put the width at maybe 80%. Right, is that okay? So once I do that, so this is like previously. Okay, so we have it now. So right now it's filling from the left going to the right, but it's not filling it at 100%, just 80% we choose. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take once more again the horizontal arrangement, and I'm gonna put it in here. Are you okay, guys? Once I do that, I'm gonna fill in the width this time. Is that okay? Once I fill in the width, now, if I try one, so since both of these horizontal arrangements are child of the vertical arrangement, if I do try to make it fill from the right towards the left, it's not gonna be possible, because once, you know, as I said, they are still all the child of the vertical scroll arrangement. So what you want to do is you want to leave this here. It's fine as it is, okay? So with this container here, we're going to pull a second one and include it within here. You do realize that whenever I pull a layout, it has these blue lines, which actually are kind of cool because they give you an idea of where that object is going to be once you leave it. So I'm going to leave it here, okay? And it comes towards my my left, right? So now we have one horizontal arrangement, which has become now a child of this horizontal arrangement we have here. So I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna click this horizontal arrangement here, and I'm gonna make it here right. Is that okay? Okay, so once I do that, I want this particular parent here, I want it to fill in the screen. So when I do that, you realize that it fills in the remaining, you know, the remaining down or below the screen, it goes away. Excellent. So next, I will come here to the align vertical and I will take it to button. Is that okay? Then I'm gonna click the horizontal arrangement, which is the child, and I'm gonna set its width here to 80% here, and its height here to 10%. So we should have something like this, okay? It looks like a chart. We are not there yet. We are still in the design process, which is fine. So as we go along, we keep on refining, okay? So I'm guessing the buttons are missing for the chart, right? We do have buttons. So what I'm gonna do is, if I think that this layout here is kind of too big, it's filling in the screen. So what you want to do is I want to click it here. So instead of fill in parent for height, how about I make it at 80%? Actually, 80% is a bit too small. So I'm going to make it, let's make it 50. Why not? Good. So it brings a little bit closer here. Okay. I'm gonna just stop here for a while and ask you guys, do you have any questions, guys? Will, Daniel, any questions? Hello, guys. Daniel, are you there?
Yeah. I'm all caught up.
Sorry?
I'm all caught up.
Sorry, I haven't understood that. Could you say that again?
I'm good.
Are you good? Okay,
Yeah, I'm
what?
good too.
Okay, so have you all understood so far? So far, so good?
Yep.
Okay, good. So this is what I'm gonna do next. So what I'm gonna do next is the buttons, right? But before the buttons, how about we put some labels there to make it real, okay? So I'm gonna open the user interface. I'm gonna click label here. I'm gonna pull the label here. Now, every time you so every time you pull down an object from the palette, okay, on your user interface, always keep looking at here, okay? If you want to get a concrete location to where that object is located as part of all the components, always look at your component. It's going to guide you, okay? So the label here is part of this horizontal arrangement here, and by default it's coming towards my left because its parent has these properties: align horizontal left and align vertical top. If I wanted, I can make it center. If I wanted here, I can make it bottom. Is that okay? So we can put it center here. So I'm gonna name it. Actually, yeah, I think we should name it, because as we go on, you realize that having horizontal, vertical 1, 2, 3 is not gonna make the job easy. So we're gonna rename it and say user 1. Is that okay? I'm gonna name it user 1, and I'm gonna look at the properties of the label here. Here, txt for text, I'm gonna type hello Daniel. Is that okay? When I do that, I'm gonna click font bold. I'm gonna increase the font size to 20. Is that okay? Excellent. I can change colors if I wanted to. I'm gonna leave it for black for now. I'm gonna drag another label here, and I'm gonna name it user2. So that's the name of the label, okay? It allows you, once you get to the block code here, it basically allows you to easily use those as variables or call upon those components much easier. So I'm gonna click this layout here, the horizontal arrangement, and instead of left, I'm gonna take it to the right. I'm gonna click back the label. I'm gonna change the text and say hello wheel. Cool. Let's click this. I'm gonna make it align vertical. I'm gonna make it center here. I'm gonna click back the label here. I'm gonna make it font bold, the same as I did for Daniel. And we have hello wheel. Okay, good. Now we need buttons, right? So we need a layout. Okay, if I don't call upon a layout, that means if I pull a button here, so if I put a button here, it's gonna be directly under this horizontal arrangement here. Is that okay? So I don't want that. I always want to have a layout for different components. Okay, I mean a layout for different user interface. For different objects, I have their own layout. It basically allows you to, it creates a more flexible management or manipulation of your layouts. So I'm going to pull down another layout. Okay. I'm going to pull out the horizontal layout here. Okay. And I'm going to make its height 10%. And its width is going to fill the parent here. Is that okay? For the user interface, I'm going to pull in 2 buttons. So because it's the horizontal arrangement, whichever button you pull is always going to be in an horizontal mode, always. Okay. So we have 2 buttons here. So I'm going to name this button here. I'm going to say send here. And here I'm going to name it cancel. All right. Now, let's look at the buttons here. Let's look at the properties for a button. We also has its width here and its height here. Let's see if I say width here. How about if I also say it should fill in the parent? So it comes as a middle. Is that okay? So we have a send and we have a cancel here as well. It's kind of cool. Right. So let's change the background here. Now, which background are we going to change? Who can help me out? Are we changing the vertical scroll arrangement background? Are we going to change this background here for the text, or which of these backgrounds are we talking about? Will, Daniel, come on, one of you.
Do you want to like change the color of the background?
Yes, please.
Oh, so do you go
Teal.
to screen 1?
So you don't want to touch screen 1. Screen 1, it's more there as the parent. So you've got to be always careful when coding.
I think you want the vertical scroll alignment, right?
Okay. Are you asking me or you are telling me?
Yeah, you go to that and then you change the background color.
Okay, so let's do that. How about we do that? We change the background color to gray. Is that okay?
Wait, no. User 2 horizontal arrangement.
Right, so let's go back. So I'm gonna leave this as it was. It was white. And rather, I will change the background of this rather. So this might be, so as I say, you might change the writing. If you want to, it's really up to you. Okay, so for now, we're just playing a little bit with the code. So I'm just clicking this background here and I'm gonna make it, let's make it pink. Will, do you like pink?
Yes.
Good. So we have something closer to base. What else can we add? Do you want to add something?
Like a text box,
A text box.
so you can actually like type your message.
Okay, I see what you mean. So yeah, we haven't added that. Thank you, Will. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna go back to the layout here. And so which do you reckon should we use here? Horizontal? Which of these 5?
You're gonna want vertical.
The vertical. Okay, so let's go. So we're gonna put it just here in between here. So I think this was taking too much space, right? So how about we make it 40 here? Is that okay? Good. So and so one thing more, as we are working throughout this project, you realize that it gives you here. So here, I want you to be looking here. So you have different screen size. So you've got the standard font size. So this font size doesn't tell you whether it's a 5-inch, it's a 6-inch or 7-inch. You don't have to worry about that. As long as it's a phone, okay, from 2-inch, 3-inch, etc., the font size here will cover it for you. If it's a tablet size, when I click tablet size, of course, it's not as big as the tablet, you know, as the iPad tablet or so on, but this will cover, this shows you how it will look like in a tablet size. When I click monitor size, which is basically a screen size, okay, of your laptop, it shows you how this will come up on a screen size. Is that okay?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go to font size here. I'm gonna come here. So this is what we're gonna do. So instead, so since we have the horizontal arrangement, I'm gonna click user interface here, and I'm gonna pull here the text box. Okay, I want you guys to pull the text box and place it in here. Now, when you place the text box in here, I want you guys to make its width again here. So fill parent here. And I want you to make it multi-line. So by making multi-line here, you're making your text box into what is called, so you are making it basically in HTML, we call it, who can help me out? What's the name? So you are making it in what is called a text area. Is that okay? So if I select multi-line here, it will allow me to write in multiple lines. Okay, so I'm gonna make it bigger. I'm gonna make the let's make it 20%. So it's gonna, oh, that was kind of small. So it's the parent. I need to make the parent bigger. Let's make the parent I don't know, let's make it 20%. Is that okay? Guys, are you following? We are
I
almost at
think Daniel left.
Daniel
No,
left.
I didn't. I didn't.
Okay, he's here.
Then
Okay,
wait.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So someone. Yeah,
Yeah,
there used to be 4 participants.
I know. So guys, we are almost at the end. So before the end of the class, we're gonna write a little code here. Is that okay? So let's go to the blocks here. Let's go to the block code here. Actually, let's come back to the designer here. Are you there? Let's come back to the designer and okay, that's fine. I don't want to go too further ahead with the code. I want to make it simple. Okay, good. So let's click add screen here. We're going to add a second screen. Is that okay? So add screen, it asks you to put the screen name. I'm going to put, I'm going to put, let's put a message. let's put receiver. I'm just gonna put receiver message. Okay. I'm very bad with names, by the way. So once you save, it's gonna bring up this new screen. So now we have two screens here. You can move from screen 1 to screen 2. You realize that when I click screen 1, it comes with all these components, and when I click screen 2, the new screen, it comes with empty, which basically makes sense. Okay, it's a new screen, so there's no relationship between screen 1 and screen 2. Okay, good. So I'm gonna go back to screen 1 here, and I'm gonna go to blocks here. Once you are at the block code here, which is this, I would say the first, but it's actually the second most important part of MIT Inventor, okay? Because you, aside from the blocks, you also need those user interface and the palette, the media, social, etc. Because having those will allow you to better manipulate the block code view. Okay, so I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna click button 1. So button 1 is the send, right? So that's the problem, because we haven't named our buttons. It's kind of creating a bit of ambiguity. So it's very important, as I said, you always want to give them names. Okay, so I'm gonna name it BTN for button, and I'm gonna give it send. For cancel, I'm gonna make it BTN for button and make it cancel. You always want to give them name. You don't want to use button 1, button 2, button 3 till 7, and so on. So now it makes more sense. When I click here, button send, it gives me all these block of codes. So you have event handlers, you have getters and setters. So I'm gonna click the click here. So when button send is clicked, what should happen? What should happen is I want whatever is written within the text box. So I'm gonna click text box here, and I'm gonna click set text box dot background color, or should I say text? Is that okay? Once I do that, I'm setting, so I'm gonna click the text here. And I'm gonna type, I'm just gonna create something like a string here. I'm gonna create hello Daniel. Is that okay? Now, when I click the cancel button, I'm gonna drag in the click cancel button here. When I click the cancel button, I want it to basically, I want it to erase whatever has been typed into the text box here. Is that okay? So I'm gonna do this here, text. I'm gonna duplicate this string here, and I'm gonna make it an empty string basically. So it's gonna be empty. Basically, you should just make whatever is in the text box empty. When it finishes, I'm gonna go back here in the control here, and I'm gonna just go down here. So I'm gonna say open another screen. Okay, so once the text has been erased, it's gonna open up another screen, and I want it to take you to the receiver message screen. Okay. Do you have any question, guys? Daniel, Will, any question?
Nope.
Okay, so once that is done, I think that will be the last code for today's class. So you do realize that when in this code viewer, you have the show warning here. You have like a warning, and you have like an error detector. So an error detector might be something like this. So for example, let me set the background here, color to a string. It gives you an error. Is that okay? So it tells you that you can't set a text background color and give it an empty string. They don't go hand to hand. Okay, it goes with a color, which you have colors here. If I choose this color here, it makes more sense. You do realize that the cross sign disappears, becomes 0 here. And the alert here, like a warning, tells you there's a warning, which is you have an empty block here, which does nothing, which doesn't really make sense, okay? So how about we just remove this block here? So I'm gonna go back to the designer. That's why I was asking you guys to install the app inventor. In order to test this app, you're gonna have to connect here. So I'm just gonna connect with my app inventor one more time here. So 879. Let me just do it and we can close for today. I don't want the class to be any more longer. Right. So I'm gonna stay co-host here. I'm gonna unshare my screen from actually I'm gonna share my screen from here. Start now. Can you all see my screen? So I'm gonna go to the app inventor here. I'm actually gonna close this here. I'm gonna go back to the app inventor and I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna go to connect. No, this is not. Right, so this is what I was looking for. So I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna click the QR code here. Right, so this is what we have. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
So this is what we are having. This was the final thing we did. So I'm gonna type just something. So I think I have to type hello Daniel, right? All right, let me just check again the block of code. That was the condition. Yeah, it had to do hello Daniel. So actually, when I click something, it just becomes hello Daniel, and then that's it. Yeah, so I'll just click send, and we have hello Daniel. Is that okay? And when I click cancel, it becomes this and it goes in the new screen. Is that okay? Does that work? Will, do you want to try it on your phone?
As I said, I don't have a phone at the moment.
Oh, sorry about that. I mean,
It's being
Daniel,
fixed.
that's fine. Will, sorry about that. Daniel, do you want to try it with your phone? Is it working?
Yeah, I connected to it and then I accidentally pushed cancel and now I'm stuck on the receiver MSG.
All right, so you can try it again. I'm gonna just click reset connection here, and I'm gonna click connect AI. So try it again. Is that okay? All right, guys. So for
Do you
next
play
week,
COD?
no, you don't click. You only so when you install the application, you click scan QR code.
No. You had Call of Duty on your phone. Do you play Call of Duty?
Yeah, sometimes I do,
Oh, cool.
especially in the train when I don't like waiting. So yeah. Okay, so guys, so this will be the end of the class for today. And for next week class, Will, since this was your idea and we all agreed to it, for your homework, I want you to use what we have learned for today with regards to the layout and user interface only and build me a nice user interface for chatting. Is that okay?
Yep.
Daniel, is that okay for you as well?
Yeah.
So
So do
you
we just expand on what we did today?
expand, but build something fresh. So I did something just over the top of my head. Okay, I did not really prepare that much because it was Will's idea. Okay, so it rather took me by surprise. So all I tried to do in this class was actually give you some few basic foundations on user interfaces and layout. So use as much of the layout as you see fit for your chat app, and from there we can go on to build a real chatting app. It's possible. I actually have one deployed and used, and it's in, I think I showed it to you once, right? I will send you the link. That's fine. I will send you the link and you can download it and check it out. It was built by the MIT App Inventor. So let me just send you the link right now before you go. It's not going to work on.
So do we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mickey D.
Do we just finish the app that we've been working on today?
Yes. So what I was trying to say is what I did with you is not, it's if you feel like doing some edits, please feel free. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if you feel like what I did with you today, I mean, you want to edit on it or you want to work more on it, feel free. It's up to you. All right, guys. Any questions before we go? Any questions, guys?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, guys. So I'm just going to copy this in my Teams and you can have it. You can have the, I'm going to give you, just give me a second. Where do I copy this here, Alba? I can copy this here. And you should have it. You should have received copy link. And here it is for everyone. So if you are on Google, feel free to go and install this. And have a nice day, guys. Take care. Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.